You know those stories that refuse to leave your mind? The ones so strange they feel impossible, yet somehow believable. We've all heard about cruise ship disappearance cases, stories where passengers vanish in the middle of the ocean without a trace. Every year there are reports of missing passengers on cruise ships, people who simply disappear overnight from what should be one of the safest vacations in the world. Most of the time those cases are tragic but explainable. Someone falls overboard, someone gets lost at sea. But every once in a while, a story emerges that feels far more disturbing. A mysterious cruise ship disappearance at sea that seems to break every rule of reality. Today's story asks a terrifying question. What if a massive cruise ship didn't just disappear into the ocean, but was discovered somewhere it should never, ever be? The Amazon rainforest, one of the most unexplored places on Earth. A place full of secrets. But according to a chilling modern legend, in 2024, a satellite scanning the Brazilian jungle spotted something impossible. A massive cruise liner sitting deep inside the rainforest, hundreds of miles from the nearest ocean. The ship was identified as the MS Serenity, a luxury vessel that had mysteriously vanished at sea 50 years earlier during what should have been a routine voyage. The ship disappeared with 800 people on board, passengers, crew, families on vacation. And according to the story, when investigators finally boarded the ship after decades of mystery, they discovered something far more disturbing than the ship's impossible location. Every passenger was gone. No bodies, no lifeboats missing, no sign of struggle, just a silent ship frozen in time. One of the most disturbing cruise ship disappearance mysteries ever imagined. The legend of the Serenity has fascinated mystery forums and storytelling communities for years because it feels like a perfect unsolved cruise ship disappearance. The story begins in November 1974. The Serenity was a massive 800-foot luxury liner, essentially a floating city. On November 29th, it left Lisbon, Portugal, heading toward Rio de Janeiro. On board were 650 passengers and 150 crew members, many of them tourists enjoying a dream vacation across the Atlantic. For 2 days, everything went perfectly. Then the ship sent its final routine radio message, and after that, nothing. No distress call, no mayday, no debris, no lifeboats. Just a complete cruise ship disappearance at sea. Search teams spent weeks scanning the Atlantic Ocean, but they found nothing. No wreckage, no oil slick, no bodies. It became one of the strangest real-life cruise ship disappearance stories ever discussed in maritime folklore. For decades, the ship remained just another mystery among stories of people lost at sea, until 2024. According to the legend, satellite imagery detected a strange clearing deep in Brazil's remote Jari Valley, over 400 miles from the coast. And in the middle of that clearing sat an enormous rusting ship. When investigators arrived, they were stunned. The name on the hull read MS Serenity. Inside the ship, the scene looked like something out of a horror film. Dinner tables were still set. Cards lay scattered across casino tables. Half-finished drinks sat in lounges. Suitcases remained unpacked in cabins. But the passengers who disappeared overnight on the cruise ship were gone. Not a single person remained. The lifeboats were untouched. No emergency alarms had been triggered, no signs of violence, just an entire ship where 800 people had vanished without explanation. Now here's the truth. The Serenity story isn't a real historical event, but it feels believable because it mirrors real maritime mysteries, stories of ships and passengers who truly vanished at sea. One of the most famous examples is the SS Cotopaxi. The Cotopaxi was a real cargo ship that disappeared in 1925 while sailing from Charleston to Havana. Like many cruise ship disappearance cases, it sent a distress call reporting flooding and then disappeared. For decades, the ship became linked to the Bermuda Triangle. But the story took an even stranger turn in 1977. Steven Spielberg's film Close Encounters of the Third Kind included a shocking scene where the long missing ship was discovered sitting upright in the middle of the Gobi Desert. That single image created a global myth. For years, people believed the ship had actually been found in the desert. It became one of the most famous fictional cruise ship mysteries ever imagined. But the real story was much simpler. In 2020, marine researchers finally located the wreck of the Cotopaxi just 35 nautical miles off the coast of Florida. The ship had simply sunk during a storm. No aliens, no desert, just a tragic disappearance at sea. While desert ships belong to fiction, modern ghost ships still happen. One of the strangest recent cases involves the MV Alta. In 2018, the cargo ship suffered engine failure while crossing the Atlantic. The crew was rescued by the US Coast Guard, leaving the vessel completely abandoned. From that moment on, the ship became a drifting ghost. For 496 days, the empty vessel floated across the Atlantic Ocean. No crew, no navigation, just wind and currents pushing it endlessly across the sea. It became one of the strangest real examples of a ship lost at sea without passengers. Finally, in February 2020, storms pushed the vessel onto the rocky coast of Ireland. Locals woke up to find a massive, rusting ship that had seemingly appeared overnight. Unlike fictional stories about crimes at sea or unexplained vanishings, the explanation here was simple: weather, currents, time. But the image of an abandoned ship appearing suddenly on shore still captured the imagination of millions. So why do stories like the Serenity feel so powerful? Real cases of missing passengers on cruise ships often have explanations. Sometimes it's accidents, sometimes it's suspicious cruise ship deaths. Sometimes people simply fall overboard. But the idea of an entire ship full of passengers disappearing overnight, that taps into something deeper. It represents the ultimate mystery. No evidence, no survivors, no explanation. Stories like these blur the line between true crime cruise ship disappearance cases and pure imagination. And that's exactly why they spread so quickly online. Real maritime history already contains countless tragedies of people lost at sea. Ships sink, passengers vanish, storms destroy vessels. But every now and then, a story like the Serenity appears. A story where the mystery is so strange, it almost feels real. Maybe that's why legends about unsolved cruise ship disappearance stories never fade. Because the ocean still holds secrets we don't fully understand. And sometimes, the most haunting mysteries are the ones we create ourselves. So what do you think? If a cruise ship like the Serenity was truly found deep in the jungle, what could possibly explain it? Let me know your theory in the comments. And if you enjoy exploring strange cruise ship mysteries, disappearances at sea, and unsolved maritime stories, make sure to subscribe for more.